Hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana and today's video is going to be about the Kroger Thai Constellations. So I have two of them. I bought two of them a few weeks ago along with a few other people in my Facebook group. We all went out and purchased these. It was a mad dash all over Indianapolis looking for these plants, almost like a treasure hunting. And I'm really sad that I didn't get to go and choose my own plants. I had one of my friends go and get these one plant for me. So I did choose one plant that was close to me. I think I bought this one from the store. I think I picked this one out myself, and this is the one that my friend picked out along with my help. But I didn't get the chance to go sport hunting. So one of my members in the group, she found some really good ones. I mean, really good ones. Some very creamy color oyou some different type of mutations on her. She has a really good eye, and she did find some really good ones. So just, if you some more drop in your area and you want to go sport hunting, look for some really crazy patterns on the leaves or different shapes and things like that, because she found some really good ones. But anywho, so I want to get these switched over to LECA. And the reason why I want to get them switched over to LECA is because I find that the Monstera deliciosa brands, the Monstera deliciosas, large form Monsteras in any variety grow fairly quick and nice in LECA. I have a green form Monstera deliciosas that I have growing, and I have about two plants. I think I put two plants into this one pot, and it really filled out. It looks gorgeous. It's growing massive. It's sitting in, I'm looking at it now. That's why I'm looking over there, because I'm looking at it now and it is big. It is really big and growing, and it keeps growing. And I have it in this big bucket of LECA. And I also have my original Thai Constellation that I purchased last August. Last August I purchased one. It was my first large investment that I made. I'm not mad about waiting at all for my Thai, but hey, I got it when it was pretty expensive, and now they're out on the market for 30 bucks. I'm not mad because I got to experience it, and I like the one that I have. I do have it on the floor. I did recently chop that one. I did chop up my big one, and that was before these came. Had I waited 2 weeks, I probably wouldn't have chopped up my my big one, because I wanted, the way it was growing, it was separating itself from the original plant, and it was it was getting bigger, but it wasn't filling out. It didn't look full. So I wanted to chop it and let it produce some more branching off, so it would fill out the pot more. Now that I have these two, I'm going to transfer them to LECA, add all of my Thais into one pot so it can have this big, lush, beautiful display of Thai constellations. Right? So I am going to be doing two things. One, I'm going to put this one into LECA straight from soil, and this one I'm going to do the long method on and put it into water and let it develop water roots. So I'm going to show you both methods today in this video. And these are the vessels that I'm going to be putting them in. I get all of my glass vessels from the Goodwill. I find that it's fairly cheap. I think I paid maybe $1 or $1.99 a piece for these. Yeah, and you can find them all the time at your local Goodwills. So I'm going to be putting them into these vessels. And if you don't know what LECA is, it's just these little tiny clay balls that you can use for semi-hydroponics, and they do not have any nutritional value for your plants, none at all. So when you use LECA, you do have to put the nutritions for the plants into the jars, whatever you have them in, the reservoir, in order for it to provide nutrients for your plants. But these little clay balls will soak up all that nutrients. They're wrapped around the roots, so they will feed the roots by soaking and wicking up that nutrient solution that you give your plants, and also gives it a lot of room to breathe, a lot of oxygen, because of how big the clay balls are that are surrounding the root system. That's the best way I can explain it. So however it goes, it works. And I'll show you my original. All right, so here are my original Thai Constellation that I chopped up recently, not too long ago. This one is activated. I can see a new growth point coming in. I don't know if you can see it there, but I do have a new growth point coming in, and I'm happy about that because this was my first chop and I was really scared. I was really scared. I've never chopped up my Thai before, and she is my baby, and I didn't want anything to happen to her. But I think I actually see 2 activations. Yeah, I see 2 growth points coming off of this plant, which is exactly what I wanted, and I'm happy about that. She has been in LECA for, I want to say, 7 months. She's been in LECA, minus this leaf here was the size of the plant that I got, because it only had 1 fenestrated leaf, or was it 2? I believe this was the first leaf that came out in my care, and it wasn't that big. It wasn't too much bigger than these, but it did have a fenestrated leaf on there. I know that for a fact. I put it straight into LECA after I had already experienced growing the green form in LECA. I did the long method with the green form on one of my green forms, and then I put it into LECA, and then I combined it with the pot with the other LECA, with the other plant. So once I did all that, because I was really scared about it, I heard about the root rot, I heard about, people losing their plants or whatever, and I was just really scared. So I did all that, and then that's where I gained the confidence to go ahead and put my Thai into LECA. I just put her straight from soil to LECA. That's all I did, and I did not do the long method on her. So she took off. She took off like a champ, and she just kept growing, giving me a new leaf every week. So that's why all of my precious little Monstera deliciosa forms are in LECA. And this one I just have in a regular bucket that you can get from Lowe's or Home Depot. Put her into this newer basket. So her roots haven't been popping out. She was in a smaller basket before, and she had tons and tons and tons and tons of root coming out. So she should grow back soon. I just want to make sure that I'm keeping that water high enough for this plant in here. And I probably do need to add some more. And then the top half is this part right here. So this was the last leaf that she's given me. She has moved on to second fenestrations, and I'm not sure if this new leaf is going to come out or not, since I chopped her, but I chopped her into 2 pieces. So she's in total of 3 pieces. That one, and then there's 2 pieces in here that are chopped up in here. And I'm just letting her roots grow out, and this is going to be pretty much the same method that the long method is. I just keep checking on her weekly, rinsing her roots off and watching her develop new roots pretty soon. And I did look at her today, and she has a couple of spots that are getting ready to activate that I can see like bulging out. Like there's a little bulge on both of the cuttings in a couple of spots. So I feel like she's doing great. I just put her back underneath the same, and put her back in the window in the same spot that she was in before after I chopped her off. And these I have right now currently in my grow tent, and I will be putting them back in the grow tent. But if you don't have a grow tent, that's fine. Just put them in a sunny spot under lots of light. They're going to need lots of light. That's where I keep them at. They sit right in front of one of my lights. I'm going to get both of these unpotted, and I'm going to remove all of the soil off of the root. This potting mat has seen its days. It is about ready to go. All right, yeah, so I'm just going to get these out of the dirt. Get all of the dirt, all the soil off of these pots, the roots. And then I'm going to get them washed off and ready for the process. Okay, so that now that we have all of the soil taken off of the roots, I'm going to get these washed off really well. I'm trying to remove as much of the soil as possible, and then I will be back and we are going to get these into their vessels. Okay, now that we have both plants rinsed off as best as possible, I removed as much soil as I could from both of them, and this should be fine. If you want, you can use like a soft bristle toothbrush and kind of brush over them, but I don't think that would be necessary. Now, you are going to experience some rotting roots. That's totally normal. For the one we're going to put in water only, what I'm going to be doing is adding some nutrient solutions because it does have roots already. And I always make my nutrient solution like on Saturdays. I make a couple of gallons of that. I use natural spring bottled water. It doesn't have anything added to it at all. There's no chemicals in this. When you test it, it should start off at like 6.0, something like that. My nutrient solution right now is sitting at 5.9. I just did a pH test on it. 5.9 is what it tested to be. What I have inside of here is 3 main ingredients, and I like to play with my nutrients. I switch up things, I try new things, or I try not to veer too far away because what I have been using has been working, and sometimes if you mix it wrong, it don't work. My main ingredients, the ingredients that I used inside of here, I kind of switched back this week to something different. So I've been using Silica Gold. If you watch my other videos, you know I talk about this all the time. Silica Gold from TPS is the first thing that I have in my nutrient water. And then this week I use Focus Foliage from Growth Technology. And you can find all of these products on Amazon. This one is along with, if I'm not using this, then I am using this, which is TPS one. Both of them are very, very similar. If I'm not using this, I'm using this. Both of them are very similar. Both of them are one-stop shop. So if you're using, you don't have to mix 3 parts of anything together. If you're going to use this, you just use this. And if you're going to use this, you just use this. The only thing that both of these are missing is silica. So that's why I add Silica Gold into them. And then I use Rapid Start for root growth. It's a root enhancer, but I call it root crack. So that's what I add into my water. And like I said, both of these pretty much have the same in there. Yeah, pretty much the same, just different quantities. But this is what I'm using. And I also use Brita water also when I'm going to be mixing the products. So all of this is already mixed. I've mixed it this morning, or I'm sorry, yesterday. It is ready to go. This right here inside of my jug is at 100%, and I'm just putting a little bit in there. So all I need is a tiny bit. And then I'm just going to put some regular filtered water in here. Then I'm just going to sit this down in here just like that. And I'm going to put this in a nice bright spot in my grow tent. And then I'm going to keep my eyes on the roots. So what I should be seeing happening over the next coming month or so is every time I take this out, I'm going to rinse it, and I'm going to rinse the older roots off, any rotting roots off. I'm going to just pull and rinse them off. As you keep growing, as it keeps going, you're going to start seeing those water roots grow. You'll be able to tell. You'll see it growing. And then once it gets to a certain amount of those roots, and I feel like it has a nice, good, healthy root system developing in here, then I will move this over to LECA, which it should take probably about maybe a month or two. I'm not really sure. I don't remember how long I had my green one in a jar before I moved it to LECA, but I'm going to be keeping my eye on it, checking up on the roots. Now this one I'm going to be putting LECA, and I have a bucket of LECA already. So I keep a bucket of LECA in water. Yeah, so I have plenty of LECA in this bucket of water. It's pre-soaked. That way I'm not just putting dry LECA into a pot. But I buy my LECA from my local hydroponic store. If you don't have a hydroponic store in your area, you can definitely order this off of Amazon. I'm not for sure how much it costs on Amazon, but like they have brown, and then they also have gray. I don't think there's a difference between them. It's just different colors. So I like to use the brown ones though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some LECA out. And this is old, used LECA. I reuse it. But when you get this, when you first get your bag of LECA, you want to rinse that off outside. Like you want to spray it off outside. I don't recommend doing it in your sink because the clay balls come with dust and dirt, mud when it's wet, and it will clog up your drains. So I do not recommend you rinsing this off indoors. If you do, like I live in a condo, so I don't have a hose to spray off. That's why I have my stuff in buckets. So I do have 2 buckets. I will basically dump my stuff into a strainer, and then, or one of those big colanders, and then I will rinse it off inside of the bucket, and then just dump the water outside is basically what I do. And then I just keep it in a bucket. So I'm gonna have about that much in there, and what I'm going to be doing is inoculating the root. You guys know the routine. I'm going to be inoculating the roots with Dino Michael. You can get that on Amazon, and I'm just gonna place her right there in the middle. Then I'm going to add more LECA on top. And I just want to make sure that her roots are covered. Yeah. And make sure she's in there nice and snug. She's got a root poking out right there on top. So I'm just going to add a couple balls on top of her roots there so they stay nice and moist. All right, so over the next couple of weeks, months, I should start seeing roots forming inside of here. And yeah, you'll see the roots. That's why I like to use the glass vessels. Now I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to be adding some nutrient solution to this vessel, just a little bit, and a little bit of water. Now, and I have that water filled up to 1/3 of a way. Now with this one, I'm going to be keeping my eye off because she's going to also have rotting roots, right? So I'll be flushing it probably maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll flush her, and I'll just take water and fill it up with water and kind of let it run off. Those rotting roots will probably like float to the top, kind of sort of say. If you have a basket, you could put this in a basket. And I don't know if I have a basket or not. Let me check. Do I have a basket? Okay, guys, guess what? I do have a basket. So this is one way you could do it like this. You could do it like this, and then when you get ready to flush out the roots, you could maybe wait a month and dump this out and rinse off the roots again, and then put her back in there if you want to do that. Or you can just leave it in here and see how she's growing, and then kind of like spray it down, fill it up with water, and then like rinse it out, and those roots should kind of, whatever's floating around in there should come out. You could do it that way. Since I do have a bucket, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use, I bought these the other day, and I bought this for my anthuriums because I was looking for bigger vessels, buckets for my anthuriums to go in. But I do have a bucket here with a rope, and I think I can go ahead and add her into this one. So let me just unpack her again, and I'll put her into this. And then we'll just dump those right on top of there. Also, you can find these baskets on Amazon as well too. You can find these baskets on Amazon, or you can find them at your local hydroponic store. And the buckets, like I said, I got that at Ace Hardware, but you can get them at Lowe's. So it's the same thing, same process. Only thing is the water now will be separate, and I did use a wick. You can also buy some nylon rope and use that as well for wicking your own if you want to create your own. But I need to get some more water. So now all I have to do is just rinse this basket out and then flush it out like that. So now that she's in here, those 2 little wicks will wick up that water and keep this hydrated. So yeah, she should be pretty good in that system there. I'm not going to add any slow release to this because I do use fertilizer in my water, so she should be good. So that is the end of that, these 2, and I will keep you guys updated and post it and let you know how they're doing. Thank you for watching. Bye.